It is 4 o'clock. We begin with breaking news today. A Delaware State Police trooper has been shot during an altercation outside of Wawa in Bear, Delaware. And now the suspect is holed up in a neighborhood in Middletown, miles from the scene, firing shots at responding officers. It is Wednesday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Shari Williams. The big story on Action News is the breaking investigation into the shooting that has sent that trooper to the hospital. The SWAT situation in Middletown has put all schools in the Appoquinimink School District on lockdown. Now, Chopper 6 was over the scene at the Wawa on the 1600 block of Pulaski Highway. You can see crime tape in that area blocking a large portion of that parking lot off.
Now, after the shooting there in Bear, police say the suspect jumped into a car and took off, driving about 15 miles to a neighborhood in Middletown. SWAT teams have converged on Brick Mill Circle. Action News has team coverage on this breaking story this afternoon. Annie McCormick is near the neighborhood, but we begin with investigative reporter Chad Pradelli, live outside that Wawa in Bear. And Chad, it seems where this all began.
Yeah, Brian, still a very fluid situation. Investigators remain on the scene here where the trooper was shot. They are collecting evidence. You can see just behind me, that is where the trooper went down. We're not going to push in too much. It's very graphic, very bloody, but just to our right, over there where you see those flashing lights, the SUV behind it, we're told that is the SUV of the trooper who was shot. He pulled up. There was some sort of interaction with that suspect. Then shots were fired. Some witnesses with whom we spoke saw the shooting. Others heard it. Here's those witnesses.
When he went over there, he pushed him. When he pushed the officer, he got a little room to run. So he pushed him and ran. And when he ran for probably like 7 or 8 feet. And then he turned around and started shooting. Just instantly, just started shooting.
I jumped out the car to see if I could help. And the other people, the witnesses, were moving into action as I was moving into action, and they turned him over and started CPR right away. And I hollered out to him, keep pumping, keep pumping. But another witness came, and she was kind of upset, so I was trying to help her too. And I called 911.
And that trooper was rushed to Christiana Hospital in grave condition. His current condition is unknown. State police are expected to hold a press conference here within the next half an hour. Now, his name has not been released. We do know that he was a trooper over at Troop 2. I'm told by a source he was relatively new to that troop. We don't know much more about him. As for the suspect, Delaware State Police tell Action News that they know who the suspect is. They are now investigating over in Middletown, a house in an area, looking for that suspect, trying to take him into custody. And we're expected to have more information again here within the next half hour after police hold a press conference. But an officer, a trooper, has been shot. At last check, in grave condition here in Bear, Delaware. That's where I'm live. Chad Pradelli, Channel 6 Action News.
Okay, the suspect known to police. Chad, thank you for your reporting. We turn now to Annie McCormick, live near the SWAT situation, where the suspect is believed to be. And this is all unfolding in Middletown. Annie.
And Shari, this is still going on. Behind me, you can see where police are still around that neighborhood that Chad was just talking about, where they believe that that suspect does live. Police saying that this investigation is linked to the search for the man who shot a Delaware State trooper. They ordered the man in this neighborhood to surrender. That male continued to fire shots at police. Witnesses describe hearing dozens of shots. Now, this is chopper video from earlier this afternoon when police and SWAT did respond to that neighborhood. Police have confirmed that multiple police agencies are on the scene after shots were fired. That is in the 500 block of St. Michael's Drive in the Brick Mill Farm development. Now, the suspect lives in the neighborhood with his family, but we are told by state police that he is alone inside. Now, troopers have again surrounded the house. They say that they got help from the public, and that is what led them here to the suspect's home, but they did not elaborate exactly what details that they did get from the public that did lead them here. Now, we just got an update from state police. We also spoke to residents in that neighborhood where SWAT and police still remain. Those residents saying they're told that they still can't go home.
The investigation at the Wawa and the witness statements and the people that were contacted during the investigation were able to provide us with information as to who this person was, and we were able to respond to the area, locate him, try to establish some sort of contact with him, which led to obviously ultimately him firing rounds at the officers that arrived. Hostage negotiators are trying to establish communication with him. Whether or not that has been established, I'm unable to tell you that.
Like 3 cop cars, their lights are on, like floored it, like ran right in past us. And like 5 minutes later, my mom called me, said there were like shots going off in the neighborhood, sent me a picture. They were like in the yards behind our houses, like the back corner of our yards is where she said there was like a SWAT team in the trees and everything.
We just saw police come by the house, like cause we were leaving and they pulled into the neighborhood. But we talked to police down there and they said we wouldn't be able to get into our neighborhood until later tonight.
And back out here live, you're seeing that school bus right there and traffic behind it. This is on Brick Mill Road. Behind that traffic is the Brick Mill Elementary School. Obviously, those kids, their spirits up. We were told now originally about 2 hours ago, the local school district did send out a release saying that the schools in the area were on lockdown. Now, there also happened to be a school field trip, and those children that were on those buses on that school field trip did have to go to another area. However, about a half hour ago, we did speak to one parent who was on that field trip, and they were able to return back to the school. So we're still waiting to hear from the school district if the lockdown is lifted on all the schools, but we do know that some students are able to leave at least the Brick Mill Elementary School at this time. But again, state police saying that this is still an ongoing situation in that neighborhood that is still on lockdown, and they're still telling those residents to stay in their homes or not return for now.